Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for yet again another match of the United Rugby Championship. The Stormers, they find themselves on the road once again today, and they will be taking on the Ospreys. This will be an exciting contest. The Ospreys, their backline's looking pretty strong at the moment. The Stormers, though, they've had a brilliant start to the season, and they are yet to not win a game with a bonus point throughout their first three fixtures. Quickly looking through at the table, the way that it sits, Leinster at the top of the bunch. They are playing up against Connacht in their match that is just around the corner. That will be kicking off at the exact same time as this game. We will keep you updated on what is happening in that game. Ulster then in second. The Stormers, they are in third. And that's going to be a very intriguing battle, I think, at the top of the table for Leinster, Ulster, Stormers, and also a few of these other South African sides trying to creep their way up just a little bit further. If the Ospreys win this game at home, they will move themselves up to possibly anywhere from 6 and above, depending on how much they do end up winning it by. But the first task is trying to win this game. They're currently blasting Bon Jovi at the ground, I think, which is why my eardrums are getting attacked at this current point in time. But we will go through the starting lineups and reserves, show you guys exactly who is out there on the field. Looking through at the Ospreys, it will be Nicky Smith, Dewey Lake, and Thomas Francis in the front row. Very strong Welsh lineup here for the Ospreys. Adam Beard at number 4, and then just a little bit of experience at number 5. Very, very good player to have in your lineup, Alan Wynne Jones. Still going. A lot of people felt when he got injured for that British and Irish Lions tour, that was going to be the end of him, but he just keeps firing back, coming on a bit of a terminator of the Welsh international game. Ethan Roots, Jack Morgan, and Morgan Morris will be the loose ball trio. Then looking through at the back line, it is Reece Webb, Stephen Myler at number 10, Keelan Giles out on one wing, Michael Collins, a guy who some of you guys may know from the Highlanders in Super Rugby not too long ago, Owen Watkin at number 13, George North, very dangerous player out on the right wing, and then will be Max Nagy, who is slotting in at number 15. Now looking through at the lineup that they have got for the Stormers in this contest, that is going to be Alistair Vermaak in the front row alongside Andre Hugo Venter. So I believe last week it was Skara Unterbeni who got to start at number 2. Now instead they have gone back to Andre Hugo Venter. Then at number 3, Johan Nedling-Forcher will be closing out the front row for the Stormers. Salman Morat and Marvin Ori both having tastes of Springbok jersey in the last 12 months or so. Nabakaba at number 6. Then it will be Hachivar, hopefully I've said that correctly, Diamani at number 7, and then the dangerous Ivan Ruas at number 8. Definitely watch out for him throughout this contest, because if he gets going early, it's going to be a very hard man to slow down for the Ospreys. Then looking through at the Stormers backline, Paul de Vet will be starting at number 9 with Mani Labok at 10. Now they did lose Damien Valimza and also Herschel Yankees for this matchup, but even without those two players, you're still looking at a very, very class backline. Lillian Zas out on one wing, Daniel Duplessis in the midfield alongside Alapati Leula, and then out on the other wing, Angelo Davids. He will be playing number 14, and then a man who is taken to the Stormers backline like a duck takes the water. That is Clayton Blommakis. Looks nowhere near out of place, and he's only just got into the Stormers lineup, and it does seem like he is definitely there to stay at number 15. So those are the starting lineups. Looking through quickly at the benches, then we will be reading all of the chat that you guys have been put on. Scott Baldwin, Reece Henry, Tom Porter, also Reese Davis, Dan Lydiot, Ruben Morgan Williams, Jack Walsh, and Luke Morgan will be the reserves bench for the Ospreys. Then Joseph Weber, Stephen Kitsoff, Brock Harris, Ernest van Reenen, Marcel Tennyson, Willie Engelbrecht, Godlin Masimla, and such a this name gets me every time. Gomezulu is there at number 23. I just realized I said that it was Skara Unterbeni in the starting lineup rather than Joseph Dweber. My apologies there for that one, but we will look through at the bench, or not the bench, sorry. We will look through at the chat. Well, I guess you guys, in a way, are my bench, but also my starting lineup. I feel like on the bench, you guys are the main event. We have got Richard in the chat. Also, Johan is here. Novmum, Ollie, another Ollie. Also, James. We have got Giovanni, Dylan, and Richard has said, quick question, Hamish, between start are you doing Rugby League World Cup from tomorrow? Says Richard English. We are hoping to do quite a bit of the Rugby League World Cup. I believe we're going to be doing the first game between Samoa and England, and then also doing the game between the Bulls and Munster. I believe that is the plan for tomorrow, but it hasn't quite been confirmed yet. Whereas it's being played, it is being played at Swansea.com Stadium. I believe is what it is called. But I'm trying to remember who else plays at this stadium. I want to say that it's Coventry, but I might be very wrong in that statement. It would make more sense actually if Swansea played there, now that I think about it. And here we go, Stormers, here we go, says Dylan. Good evening from Cape Town, says Giovanni. And also the Welsh is unleashing, says Ollie. And nice to watch Leinster versus Connacht, says James. Yeah, that has taken place at the exact same time as this game. They aren't showing that one here in New Zealand, but still going to be a very good game. We will keep you updated with what is happening in the score department of that contest. But now we are going to get to watch a very exciting game between these two. The question is, can the Ospreys break this bonus point streak that the Stormers have found themselves on? Yes, I'm here too, still working. Got my stream going, says Cited YouTube. Appreciate you being there, mate. Money Labok about to kick this game off for the Stormers. Referee blows the whistle, and this game of the URC, ladies and gentlemen, is underway. And Ospreys, they will be receiving the kickoff straight away. It's taken nicely by Nagy. Good tackle made on him by Salman Morat. Ospreys currently inside of their own 22, 10 metres out in front of their own posts. We're going off to the short side. Big bit of contact there early from Nabakaba. Now, the thing is, they need to try and get themselves out of their own 22 early up against the Stormers, because they're the type of side that will jump in there, try and get the turnover pretty much straight away. A nice muff on your chin right there. In there, says Yako. I mean, I'll take it. Normally the beard grows about as consistently as... I'm trying to think of the most inconsistent thing I can think of that's not like too bad. And there's a few things I could say. But yeah, it doesn't grow very consistently. That's what we'll leave it at. Now, Andre Hugo Fenta about to throw the ball in for the Stormers side that are on the road, and actually came in as $1.70 favourites, which is quite surprising, as they did win their last game relatively comfortably. But Hugo Fenta throws the ball in, nicely taken there at the back by Diamani. Also adds that extra option at line-out time when it comes to the jumpers. Hugo Fenta trying to hang on to this one. It looked like an awkward one for the Stormers trying to defend it. Dan Duplessis now gets tackled hard by Morgan Morris. It's a turnover, clean one for the Ospreys, and a little bit of fight there from Reece Webb to be able to get it back on the side of the Ospreys, who have now got possession 30 metres out from their own line. Great step there from Michael Collins in the midfield. Like I mentioned, we've seen that man take part in Super Rugby, and he was a very handy asset for the Highlanders. Unfortunately, the Highlanders, they seem to start to find momentum, and then they give their players away to overseas clubs and then go downhill again. That's kind of the trend that the Highlanders have found in the last few years. Now it looks like Reece Webb looking to play it to the left-hand side. So they're not keen to give the ball away at this point. They look like they would rather go a couple more phases, make sure that ball goes into touch, because like they mentioned, if you give it to the back three of the Stormers, that's when the trouble really starts. You got to make sure you're finding it, and that is exactly what Reece Webb has done. The ball in touch, line out for the Stormers now. How the Ospreys kicking game. Sharks got outplayed last week with the superior kicking game from Leinster, says cited in there. So the Ospreys are normally pretty handy. They've got Myler as their first receiver, and also Reece Webb, I think, is going to be so important in this game for them. If they do get it right early with Reece Webb, I have to say, you know, the Stormers back three and also the Stormers backline in general needs to be shut out of this game. If they get that right, they have got a chance of keeping this one close for a long time. There's a cruise ship in Tauranga, and it's called Majestic Princess, says Ollie Wilson there. Now it's going to be back across Dan Duplessis in the midfield. Good carry. Paul DeVette now going off to the left-hand side. This is looking dangerous now. The back three almost getting involved. Angelo Davids, though, putting it down. Little knock on from the 7 superstar. 3 minutes in at the moment, and we are about to see the first scrum of the day. Now, another game of the URC. I believe it took about 25 minutes before we did see... Oh, this doesn't look good. But yeah, before we saw a scrum. George North is currently down, and it does not look too flash. It looks like it's somewhere in the lower leg region, maybe calf, Achilles, somewhere. About either way, hope it's going to be all right, because he is certainly one that the Ospreys will not want to lose early on in this contest. Alan Wynne Jones going over to, no, he's not checking on him. He wants a drink. Fair enough. Hydration is important, and they do have 2 drinks breaks normally in the URC games. Oh, okay, so a stray boot, I think they said, went down the edge of his leg. Looks like he's going to be all right. He's doing some squats. I mean, I can't do squats at the best of times. And hey, says Barry, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. So, wow. Okay, that's a stat that I didn't realize. But the Stormers, they are on a 14-match winning streak at the moment. So this is going to be one of those games, like I mentioned, it's surprising how close they are in terms of those odds. The scrum about to go in. Try, says James. I assume that's in the Leinster game, is it? They have been able to score up against Connacht. About to be fed in by Reece Webb. Hopefully we have a consistent scrum today, because normally we've had scrum reset after scrum reset. That's a very good scrum from the Ospreys. Can appreciate a scrum when the ball goes straight out the back. Keeps the game flowing the way that a lot of people want to see now. Reece Webb goes short side, runs straight into, I believe that was Marvin O'Ree. Not really a gap round the side, and the Stormers straight in the breakdown with the big man in number 4, Salman Morat. He's been able to turn it over. How's it going, Hamish? Me, you and my friend Tapak and Reed should catch up for a beer and game of bowling next year for my birthday, says Ollie. Although you guys are in the North Island, aren't you, Ollie? Which I guess makes it a little bit trickier, as I am in the South, and also Leinster, says James. And there as well. But Marty Lebock about to kick this one for the corner. The Stormers would like to also get themselves a nice early try in the contest. That's a great kick from Lebock. It's going to be about 7 meters out with the line out, and a dangerous rolling maul just around the corner could be here for the Stormers, which may lead to the first try of the game. But the Ospreys, their rolling maul defense, it's a mixed bag. Sometimes they do some incredible stuff, and other times they just leave that little bit too much freedom for the other side to be able to pretty much just get it moving. And hey, Hamish, evening for Furi. I feel like I've said that really wrong, Finton, but hello. Hope you are doing well, mate. Now, nice defense from the Ospreys currently, and it looks like Alan Wynne-Jones trying to keep his hands on the ball. The bionic arms at this point now. Nice run from Diamani. 10 meters out. Almost ripped away by Jack Morgan, but wasn't quite able to get it pulled to vet now. Good step from Evan Ruas. Now, getting a couple of extra meters, 4 meters out now. Mora goes straight down. In fact, that time it was Marvin O'Ree. Now pulled the vet, looks to the short side. Lebock now after Clayton Blommakis puts in the little grubber. And I believe straight away, Lilian Zuss was complaining that he was held back rather than continuing to chase that ball just in case there was a little bit of a fumble. It's always a case of play to the whistle now. Marnie Lebock gets it back, on the halfway line. Due to the kick away from the Ospreys, it's a little knock on there. And I do see that the rain is starting to fall. And if it has been falling, it wasn't as heavy as it is now. It looks like it's bucketing down. Adam Beard's not too happy with something. And also conversion. And there says James. So it must be 7-0 for Leinster currently in their game as it currently sits. But Paul de Vet, dangerous backline. Clayton Blommakis, the little kicking behind. And yeah, see, Lillian Zuss, you got to chase that one just in case. Just a little bit too keen to have a chat with the touchy. That one, the back weight's currently relatively even. A little bit of an advantage for the Ospreys of 20 kgs with 895. So Stormers actually packing a relatively light kind of 4-pack for this game, I'd say. They're normally around that 900 mark. A little bit more of a smaller number 6, I believe, Nabakaba. I mean, he's a heavy boy, don't get me wrong, but he's not quite as heavy as some of the other guys that they have had in the past, the Stormers. Okay, we have had our first scrum problem. They are going to have a scrum reset. 7 minutes gone in this contest. Neither side able to score a point as of yet, but I think once we see one try, we're going to see a lot more, although that weather may play a little bit into the factor of the Ospreys, because that attacking game of the Stormers may not be as prominent if they don't get that ball clean when they do receive it downfield. Paul de Vet about to put the ball on. This will be dangerous, though, with a a scrum set piece just around the corner for the Stormers here. Paul de Vet puts the ball in. Waiting for it out the back, currently on the halfway line, goes to Marnie Lebock as the first receiver now. Dan Duplessis sold the dummy as if he was going on the outside to Lillian Zuss. Didn't find him in the end. Almost great work from the Ospreys to try and get the turnover and the breakdown. Nabakaba finds the offload now to Lillian Zuss in the midfield. Being wrestled down. Stormers still have this ball. Paul de Vet finds it off to Salman Mora, who does well to stay on his feet for as long as he did. Paul de Vet now goes to Marnie Lebock with the little chip and chase, trying to get that one. Not quite able to clean it up, though, for the number 13. Alapati Leula. And now It's going to be available for Dewey Lake to play Go Stormers, only because I work with a South African bloke here in Auckland. Great bloke, says Nuzzy Williams. And yeah, currently the Stormers, they are on a 3-match winning streak for the URC. They are undefeated this year. And the thing is, they have not won a game without a bonus point. Every time they play and they win, they get more than 4 tries, which is something that a lot of teams wish they could say about their URC season. Just ask someone like a Munster. They are a side that I think are looking to fire back up against the Bulls a bit later on in this round of the URC. Currently hanging on to this ball once again, the Stormers. Paul de Vet with a nice sniping run around the side of the breakdown. Morat tries to go up to Evan Ruas. The ball bounces to Diamani. Well, great work, though, in the breakdown almost for the Ospreys from Nicky Smith. Unable to get the turnover, though. Dan Duplessis now around the side. Straight over the ball once again for the Ospreys. Okay, the tackle was good. There's a knock-on the floor from Jack Morgan, and now the scrum feed will once again go the way of the Stormers. But they are working extremely hard in the breakdown. And also the actor who played Hagrid in Harry Potter has died, says Novmum in there. I'm trying to remember if I know the actor's name. I don't think I know his name. I just know him as Hagrid. So that's sad news for the Harry Potter community and also the community in general. 10 minutes in. At the moment, we are already an eighth of the way through this contest. Clayton Blomakis, he's touched the ball a couple times. How's the Stormers game going? Says James Cody. It looks a little bit disrupted at the moment. They've had some good moments, but the Ospreys in the breakdown look like they're going to be looking to get those turnovers pretty much instantly, which is where the clean-out is so important, whether it is Evan Ruas, Diamani, Nabakaba, a couple of those locks, Mora, and Ori maybe getting in there a bit more, and Robbie Coltrane. And there says Novmum is the man's name. Paul de Vet now feeds the ball in. They have been told to use it. Paul de Vet now goes across to Marnie Labok. Nice short ball. It's going to be put down. And now the scrum feed's going to actually go the way of the Ospreys. And I'll go Stormers with 15 points. There's Johannes there. So I assume you are giving them another bonus point win in this URC competition. It is pouring down, though, so I think we're going to see a few more handling errors than we would normally expect from these two outfits. They were just making a little bit of a mistake in the midfield. They're a very solid individual at number 13 for the Stormers. Their whole back line seems to gel very quickly, and it just gives them that little bit of an edge from kickoff. I would say as the game develops, sometimes the other sides try and get themselves back into it, and the back line starts to find a bit more of its form. Like we've hardly seen Owen Watkin, George North linking up together yet, but when they do, it's going to be dangerous for the Stormers defence. One moment. There we go. The thing is, every time we do a morning live stream, that's going to be the penalty to the Stormers. The hay fever seems to kick in, unfortunately. It's currently 7:48 a.m. here in New Zealand. Nice early Saturday start. And bonus point for sure, says Dylan. Right, the Stormers might consider the 3 points here. Yep. Marnie Labok nods. Says we want the 3 just to get us some points on the board. They've been inside of the Ospreys half pretty much this whole first 11 minutes, other than a couple kicks downfield from the Ospreys. So really trying to, I guess, drown them in that territory aspect. Keep that pressure flowing. I believe Nicky Smith ended up kind of going sideways in his scrum there. Not too happy. Give more updates on the field position, please, says Yucko. And there as well. So currently they are sitting about 30 metres out for Marnie Labok, as it is absolutely pouring down at Swansea.com Stadium. And excited to see Stormers Samoa number 13 tonight, says Rickus. So yeah, Alapate Leula, I believe he's come from the Bristol Bears, if I'm not wrong. And has been looking to break onto the scene for the Stormers. Yeah, what do you think about the Lions? Says Dominique. Ooh. Okay, the Lions is in the Emirates, the Emirates Lions from the URC, the Golden Lions from the Currie Cup, the British and Irish Lions, or maybe the Lions is in Wellington, who just won themselves a game in the Bunnings EBC. There are quite a few Lions, so do let me know which ones you want the information on. And Ospreys got this, says Selenium. And also the Stormers will win, says Nolan. And also, did you watch the under-19 All Blacks touring South Africa? Those boys are very good, says Young. Yeah, there's a lot of talent coming out of New Zealand and South Africa currently in those under-19 ranks. And it always makes you wonder, you give it 2031 World Cup, somewhere around there, who's going to be the next big thing that we saw taking part in one of those games to then break onto the scene and be like a star of a World Cup? And also we go there, Salanum Cell says Rick is there and Bristol Pat Lamb's team. That is indeed the team that struggled last year, but somehow managed to get themselves, oh, that's almost taken back, is it? Lillian Zas. Okay, it is just inside of the in-goal area, so Lillian Zas has been able to force it. It will now be a goal line driver. Good morning, Amish, and hi to everyone in the chat. Says Bianca, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Stormers currently, they have themselves a 3-0 lead after the conversion was successful from Marnie Lebok, but now have to kick it downfield with the drop kick being told to hurry up by the referee. And also the Emirates Lions of the URC, says Dominic. So currently, I believe they're sitting about 7th, if I'm not wrong. They're one of those sides that I think I see them as a top 8 side this year. They've got enough talent. They seem to be finding their feet early, and they've got a couple massive away wins, which I think has been pretty handy for them. Because last year in the URC, it was every side was winning at home, but they weren't winning on the road. And the Lions seem like they're trying to break that chain a little bit. That's great work in the breakdown from Lula, and he wins the penalty for the Stormers. They will have the ball now 40 metres out from their own line with the kick to touch to come in this one. Nice work from Pate Lula there. Mani Lebok and Stormers. You got the Stormers all the way, and how's it, Hamish, bro? Doing very well. And I hope you are too. Currently, a lot of sport coming up for this weekend. We have got there. Hey, lads, are you going live for Samoa versus England game? Hope so, says Selenium. So that is the plan. We are going to be doing the England versus Samoa game, and then while Fiji versus Australia has taken place, we are actually going to be doing the Munster versus Bulls game. So we've got a little bit of a combination going for tonight. But it does mean when we do the Samoa versus England game, we won't actually be able to do either of the URC fixtures, but we will keep you guys updated on what the score is. Those games are Lions versus Ulster and Glasgow versus the Sharks, I believe. And also go the Stormers, says Franklin. Ball about to be thrown in to the front from Johan Nedeling for Shat. Ivan Ruas now taken down. And the rolling maul commences currently 20 metres out from the opposition line here for the Stormers. Alwyn Jones, he went straight through the middle. It looks like it's breaking away now with Paul DeVette. Great tackle made on him by Morgan, and the penalty goes the way of the Ospreys, and Adam Beard is now very happy. He wants a high five from everyone. And that Ospreys forward back, and thanks, dude. Good to hear, says Selenium. I will mention some of the names I might not be the best at, and also I guess my knowledge of rugby league has gone a little bit downhill for myself as of late, like over the last 12 months or so, but hopefully we end up firing that back up, and yep, league first over all that, says Nuzzy Williams. And there's our Lions have generally been the weak of the South African teams over the year. They seem to be performing well this year, says Cited in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to get the table up actually while we're at it. I think they're about 7th, 6th at the moment. So they've had 3 wins, 1 loss. And I believe they've only had 1 or 2 home games, including one game that they lost against the Bulls. So other than that, other than the loss to the Bulls, they've been pretty solid throughout this URC season. That's a forward pass from the Ospreys on halfway. That is the last thing they wanted in that situation. And now it is going to be another scrum feed for the Gotta love hay fever. I doubt anyone would have hay fever at the game, though, because it is absolutely pouring down and it looks very wet. So hopefully it doesn't affect the handling errors. Luckily, that time it was a full pass rather than a drop ball. Currently, 87% territory in favour of the Stormers. We mentioned how they love to try and take their opposition into deep waters inside of their own half. And they've been able to do that very well. Now on the halfway line, they have got themselves a scrum, which they will look to possibly unleash that Stormers backline. Now, the 50-22 is still an option here, as they are just inside of their own territory. I don't see them going for it, though. Paul DeVette puts the ball in now. Goes back across. It looks like they are going off. Oh, they actually do go for it. They got it. I think that might be almost a 50-22. No, it's not. It's an Ospreys line-out. Must have been very close to a 50-22. Because he went to that side. Oh, he might have taken one step. If he's lucky. One step into the opposition half. I think he's a little bit disappointed there, Marnie Lebok. He's wondering why that wasn't a 50-22. The Ospreys back inside of their own 22 here. looking to try and get a decent exit. Oh, wait a second, guys. Is the comment there? They're going to be checking this 50-22. I think it was a 50-22. I think it depends on where his foot landed. But I think he was just inside of the half. Is it a 50-22? Is the comment from the referee, Giovanni? It is a 50-22. Okay, so we are going to have the 50-22, and the Stormers have got themselves now the line out. So I guess the call if they might consider going for it. Not only did they go for it, but they got it right. In the process, Money in the Box should be in the Box team. Says Drickus, definitely now. Yep, inside of the half. Very good kick from Money Lebok. But yeah, with the injuries that they've got at the moment, with Honore Pollard out, of course, Elton Yankee's no longer in the picture for now. Does mean that Money Lebok could definitely be that next option as fly half for the Springboks. And then it opens up the option of whether or not you go with Damien Valimza at 10 again, or whether you go with him at 15. Little mistake from the Stormers, a knock-on on the ground, and they had a lot of forward momentum. Andre Hugo Feta looks down at his hands and goes, why did they not hold the ball? Currently 19 minutes in and another scrum. Nice accent, bro, says Nasi Williams. And there, could you tell I was trying to be Italian? I'm not too sure whether or not it would have come across. Aro? Yeah, Giovanni. He's done a few of the URC games. Currently, the rain doesn't look like it's going to be letting up at all for this contest, so it's going to be a wet one. I'd say more than likely, but Michael Collins in the midfield, I hope he starts to get the ball a little bit more, because I don't know whether or not he's actually had it for more than about a second throughout this contest. Also on the outside, George North, he's just waiting. Keelan Giles out on the other wing. But with the Stormers putting that extra pressure on, it just means you got nowhere to go other than to keep kicking it downfield back into their hands. And then that's when the danger starts. And that's what the other sides that the Stormers have faced in the URC have found out. It's a big scrum here. Both front rows go up, and they are going to have a scrum reset. Hello, nice Italian flair there, Hamish. Hello, my friend. How are you in New Zealand? I'm watching the game from South Africa. Durban, says Clone. I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. Currently, nice early morning start for this game, about a 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday. So I don't know what my plans are as of yet. I might end up finishing this live stream, going back to sleep for a few more hours, and then waking up in the afternoon, getting ready for a big night of rugby that we've got coming up at the Bock. We'll play in the A Springbok team. Says Johannes there, why haven't you done a Be a Pro in the Curry Cup format yet on Rugby Challenge 4? Says Drickus. I think it was more that I want to say there were a couple sides that weren't quite accurate overall in terms of, like, I would have to go through, update all of the teams. Plus, I don't know whether or not that's something you guys do want to see. I did an original career mode way back in the day. I don't know if it's still on the channel, but we did actually start in the Curry Cup, and we were playing for the, I think we were actually playing for the Lions in that one. Now it's kicked downfield. Good clearance from Michael Collins. Important kick to get them back into the half of the Stormers. Currently only 3-0 down. They'll take that at this point in time. So they haven't really been able to put together any offense at all against the Stormers side. A great kick downfield from Michael Collins. Manages to find the touchline. Do Wales need any more rain at the moment? Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. Has it been dry in Wales? Because it's anything but dry at the ground at the moment. And I mean, if they needed rain, it's probably quite handy. If they didn't need rain, probably a bit annoying, the amount that is falling. Because they're certainly getting a downpour. Andre Hugo Fenta about to throw the ball in for the Stormers. This is where a not straight line out or something would be huge, but he hasn't done so. It's straight down the middle. Rolling maul starts for the Stormers. The Ospreys, they have defended it well once again. Alan Wynne-Jones just looking around the side of that maul, deciding when his opportunity to pounce is. Now nice work. And the breakdown from Reese Webb. Counter-ruck there from the Ospreys. Now they've been able to win the ball back. This is their first attack. Oh, they've dropped it. Oh, it's gone backwards. Still going backwards. Jumping on it. Here goes Giles. Zana pierces his way through. Right, the Ospreys, what can they do with their first chance of the day? It's going to be kicked in behind. Why would you? I feel like that was a bit of a rough choice to go for the kick. Just use the back line, get it through everyone's hands, because a few of them haven't even touched the ball yet. Stephen Myler makes the mistake for that choice. Wales is known for being extra wet, says Ethan there. And my favourite team in New Zealand, or is New Zealand. I'm a South African, but I'm favouring New Zealand, says Cluin there. Wales is usually wet, especially in Newport, says Drickus there. Nice work from Keelan Giles. Jumps back up to his feet. Diamani didn't look like he was trying to make a tackle attempt for a start, but still managed to drag him down. Very impressive from the big man. But yeah, just the decision-making at the moment from the Ospreys. When you finally get the ball in hand, you cannot afford to just give it away by kicking it into touch. The Lions have a number 13. It's making a major difference in the team. If you don't know what his name is, says Tinker. Number 13 for the Lions. Oh, no. My brain's gone blank, but I know who you're meaning. He's probably playing there for their game up against Ulster. I'm going to look it up quickly, because we've currently got a drinks break as well, so that works quite well in our favour. Or the Lions playing? They are playing Ulster in the upcoming game, and that's actually going to be a home game for them at Ellis Park. Number 13, as soon as I see it, oh yeah, Henko van Veek. He's the one you're talking about, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. And he is actually rumoured to be maybe the next big talent out of South Africa. Including your feelings. Oh, you hurt my feelings, mate, says Ethan there. Yeah. Salman Mura, the big man, will be excited to get himself back into that Springbok contention. I know that there's a lot of players right on the cusp. A few of them going to end up in South Africa A. Of course, the All Blacks already announced in their squad, and their All Blacks A side is going to be heading up north to play the Barbarians in a very exciting game there. Hugo Fenter, those at him. Mora, has not quite been able to get that one right with the finger. They end up going forward, and now it's a scrum feed for the Ospreys. This is a great chance. If they kick this ball away, I'm going to be very annoyed, because it's a perfect attacking opportunity. Need more field position updates, bro, please, says Yako. So currently on the 22 at this point in time, and Alwyn Jones putting up a decent challenge in the air for Salman Mora. 23 minutes in. It's been a stalemate at the start, which sounds weird to say with the fact that the Ospreys have only had about 30 seconds inside of Stormers' territory, but they've defended well. I think that's going to be something that they will pride themselves on for the second half, but currently 22 metres out. It's going to be a scrum feed for the Ospreys. First real, I guess you could say, set play opportunity that they have got now. Reece Webb about to put the ball in. They might look to use Giles out on the wing. Now bouncing off the back. It looked like Morgan Morris considered going up for it. It's a big push, though, from the Ospreys. It's wheeling, and it's gone up in the front rows once again. I think the Ospreys fans are a little bit disappointed not to get themselves the penalty. That one, but it is going to be another scrum reset. And I'm at the Cardiff versus Stormers game next week. The Stormers better bring their A game for me, says Ethan. And there's some entertaining fixtures taking place at the URC at the moment. I know last year a lot of people were looking at those Irish versus South Africa games. They were the main ones people had their eyes on. But I feel like as the competition has progressed, and kind of like we've only had a year of it, and it's already becoming one of the most popular competitions around. Like the Welsh derbies up against the South African sides have been very entertaining. The Scottish derbies, all those matches taking place as well. Right, the front rows just stand up for themselves there, and they're not happy with where the positioning is between the lines. Currently using up a minute or two on the clock. Both sides may not mind having a bit of a breather, though. Right. Ospreys, I think, if I had to try and predict what they're going to do here, I think they're going to use Owen Watkin, number 13. Yeah, even Betterton can be a potential banana skin for someone. And I'm going to put it out there, Zebre. They've had a good start to their season. They've had some close games. The fact that they were able to put on 40 points or so against the Sharks, they put on about 30 against Leinster, and Lions number 13 is Henko van Veek. And there says Rickus. Now the ball's off the back. Going to be an advantage. Nice run forward from Morgan Morris. Now using the back line. No, they decide to just keep it in the forwards just for now for the Ospreys. It's a dangerous tactic, but I guess they want to make sure that they've got that first guy in the breakdown to be able to get the clean out. Now Reece Webb goes back across. Wide cutout pass. Now down the wing. Here goes Giles. It's going to be accelerated hard, trying to break through the tackles. Oh, that could have been a bad one for his knee, but luckily he's going to be all right. And he did fall in not too awkward of a fashion. Dewey Lake now. Reece Webb Goes back across currently, still on the 22 here for the Ospreys. Good attack and run from Owen Watkin. Man, who I did mention just before, Collins. Quick hands there, Morgan Morris. Just phase after phase. This is the most we've seen from the Ospreys throughout this match by about 5 at the moment. Oh, I jinxed it. Dewey Lakes put it down. We were playing advantage, right? They're going to be going back for the original advantage, though. And also, we have they haven't. They haven't been pushed over. It's impressive improvement at the very least, says Ethan. Yeah, I mean, if you look at how many points they had last year compared to this year, like, I feel like they're definitely on par to get themselves extra this year, which is great to see for the sides. And yeah, the closer the competition is, we've seen it from the Rugby Championship throughout the last year. The closer a competition is, the more likely people are to follow it to the end, if that makes sense. So as long as the URC is close, and it's hard to tell exactly who's going to be able to get themselves the victory, those are the most exciting games. But it's actually going to be kicked into touch by Stephen Myler. They have turned down the 3 points. They feel like this is a great opportunity. Try and put the Stormers under pressure. That was a bad pass, though. Says Sighton in the weather a bit of a leveler for the Ospreys at the moment. Case of just getting the job done for the Stormers today. It looks like just get the W, says Ethan there as well. Yeah. Currently no tries throughout the first 27 minutes of this game, but they are about to try and change that for the Ospreys. And also FA Stormers, says Rayner now down the short side. I believe this time they use their big number 6 or number 7, Jack Morgan. Getting close now. Ospreys 2 meters out from the line here. They go around the side. It's going to be Morgan once again on his back. Ospreys, can they get in? That was great defense from, I believe that was Marvin Ori, who tried to flatten out. Now very close to the line. Still for the Ospreys. Wynne Jones has his hand in the air and saying it's a try. Referee says no, it's not. Oh, that was risky. Trying to go for the quick hands on the short side. It's going to be bounced away, and brilliant defense from the Stormers, who now have the counter-attacking opportunity. Lula in the midfield goes off to Angelo Davids, and it's gone from attack to defense that looked flat. Clayton Blomakis tackled hard by Giles. The penalty goes the way of the Stormers, and they have lost, I would say, about 50 meters there. Oh, Angelo Davids and Giles. Oh, there's a bit of push and shove going on at the moment between a couple of the players. Not too sure why. I think there was just frustration from Jack Morgan, realised how much they blew that opportunity. And now they've lost Giles as well in the process with an injury. And also we have got there, dude, just tell us where the action is taking place. Commentary, very good. Where are we? Spatially? Is that how you say that word? They were inside of the 22 for a long time there, and then it was a line break. And a forward pass from the Stormers. I should have mentioned as well that they should probably go back and check. And also see how much told you weather favours the Ospreys. Looks at Rainier's comments, says Ethan. And there as well, but Dewey Lake, well, not Dewey Lake, sorry, it was Keelan Giles. Looks like he's got a little bit of an injury there. But the good news was, throughout that whole time, they were still pretty much in the same part of the field, Yako. It was only that line break where it really changed for them overall. The crowd have seen it. They're not too happy with that forward pass. But it looks like, oh, is Giovanni once again going to go upstairs? No, he's not. Okay, he's getting booed. And now the Stormers will be able to kick it back downfield. Oh, Marnie Lebock wants to take on the 3 points. This is going to be about a 54-meter kick for Marnie Lebock inside of his own half. But he's confident, and he is striking the ball well. So possibly a very handy man to have on a tee. Okay, so I think the crowd are chanting forward at the moment for that pass, and it looks like it's going to be a drink break for Marvin O'Ree. And also, Jesus loves you so much and died for you so we can be forgiven and go to heaven. And God bless you, says Trix. I think we've had that comment on a few of the videos, but I don't know if it was you, Trix, who did comment it. We do get it every once in a while. So maybe it was. Welcome in. First live stream for yourself. Marnie Lebock, 1 from 1. At the moment, 53 meters out for this kick. And also, my man, hope you're doing well. I just want to know your opinion on the Stormers' performance the past 2 years, says Pete. I mean, the Stormers at the moment, definitely, yes, they're not top of the table currently, but that is just because they've got that game that they have been a little bit behind. But I would say, like, definitely the South African side to beat currently. And the fact that their backline keeps on getting stronger and stronger makes me concerned for other sides. That is a great kick from Marnie Labok from 53 out, managing to get it straight down the middle, and that will be 6-0 now after 30 minutes. And also, he's no Pollard, though. Pollard would nail that. Says Nazi Williams. Well, he's just nailed it. And also, this kick is for the box selector, Seth Sighted. And who do you think is going to win? I'd like to see a little bit more from the Ospreys, or else I think the Stormers are just going to continue to get every 3-pointer that they can get, keep on adding up the points. Now, second half, they have been prominently known for getting a lot of tries, although with the weather the way that it is, I think it's going to be a tricky one to get as many tries as they normally do. And the high ball, nicely taken there. I believe that was the number 15, Nagy. We haven't seen him since the first minute of the contest with the ball in his hands. Back across, Wynne Jones, sitting on the halfway line currently, kicking that one back. It's another mistake. And it's going to be now the scrum feed for the Stormers. We knew we were going to get a few, though. When we saw the weather, the way that it was, and the block just said, F you to that go. It says Trickers. 31 minutes through. Wynne Jones, does he knock this ball on the ground? Yeah, he tried to go for the fancy offload. Didn't end up smacking straight into Thomas Francis's knee. Currently, you have to wonder whether or not the Ospreys are regretting not taking those 3 points. But I don't think it was so much the not taking the 3. It was the more decision-making when it came to the attack. They didn't want to use that backline, even though as soon as they did, it looked like it was going to be dangerous. They got it out wide. They just weren't quite able to keep it in those backs for long enough, I don't think. And also, morning, boss, and let's go Stormers, says Nate. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. Currently 30 minutes through this game. The scoreboard's a little bit behind. There we go. Has now updated itself. 31 and a half minutes through and currently on the halfway line with a scrum feed for the Stormers. Now, 8 minutes left. This is going to be a big 8 minutes for both of these sides. Because the Ospreys need some attack, and the Stormers, you'd have to say, also need to find themselves some more attack. They had 87% of territory throughout the first 20 minutes of the game. And then from there, it has slightly gone back in favour of the Ospreys. And Stormers are a confidence team. And once they are up, they're hard to stop. They're sighted exactly right now. Marnie Labok looking for the 50-22. It's gone straight to Giles, who was waiting for it. Now kick downfield from the Ospreys, managing to find touch with that one. A good clearing kick from Nagy. My nose and hay fever. Hay fever sucks. And 7, Leinster and Galway are rating 30 minutes gone, says Richard. And then stupid question was thinking if Pollard played for the ABs, what number and the line would you select him? Barrett, Moonga, Peter Feta. Put him above any of them. Rate Pollard, good player, says Nazi Williams. I feel like it'd definitely be, it's a tricky one. Currently off form, I'd say he's probably 1 or 2. And they're in 7-0. Says Richard. So, yeah, they had the early try, and then other than that, they haven't really had too many points on the board for the Leinster versus Connacht game. That's time. It's a knock-on from Angelo Davids. Pollard is an injury liability these days to any team, says Strickus. Is he signed for Leicester Tigers currently, or is he somewhere else? Because I know he wasn't Montpellier, and then he moved to the Tigers, but I don't think he's had a game yet, mainly because of injury and also the internationals that they have had. Another scrum feed in this game. About 35 metres out from the Stormers line. It will be the Ospreys ball in the hand. 6 minutes left now. Okay, they're saying George North is 20 metres back from the scrum, so he's very deep. I hope they don't go for a cross kick. And 27 minutes into his Tiger debut, he got injured, says Drickus there. Now, big scrum, the Ospreys. They've now got the advantage, flicking it off to the short side to Nagy. Kicks it in behind. And that one's going to be going back for the initial penalty. And what it helps with hay fever and eat basil, says Bianca. I haven't actually heard of the basil one, so I might have to try some basil some stage. I'm so glad there's a mute button on the live stream. I like Tana Umunga said, it ain't Tiddlywinks lol, says Nazi Williams. And there's our right. This time, it seems like they want to take on the 3 points for the Ospreys. That'll be Stephen Myler. So they want some sort of reward for the pressure they've been able to cause at scrum time throughout this first half. Now, Myler, this kick really needs to go over. First kick of the match, 35 metres out. Should be nice and simple for Myler's standards. I just seen the scoreboard is already updated, so I guess if I had to predict, I'd say that this one might go over. Myler taking his time here, making sure that the scoreboard is not wrong. One's gone over, and now after 35 minutes, it is 3 points to the Ospreys and 6 to the Stormers. Still definitely either side's game to be able to take in the second half, and if anyone can score themselves a try at the end of this first half, would definitely help with the momentum heading in to the second 40. The rain's still looking as heavy as it was at the start of the game, Nate. I remember you saying you in Melbourne, you get caught up into floods. I agree, hay fever sucks. When you go to bed, take some antihistamine. It will relieve quite a lot. Talking about experience, says Alfie there. Yeah, it seems to only be the early morning live streams when I've slept first, if that makes sense. Like the games we got tomorrow night, we're going to be doing at 2:30 a.m. and 7 a.m., I believe it is. But both of them will be fine because we would have been up for pretty much the whole day up till that point. Right, the ball now has found touch, and the Stormers 47 metres out from the Ospreys line have got themselves now another line out just before the end of the first half. Okay, I'm not too sure what Paul the Vet said there. I was trying to listen, but he didn't say it loud enough for me. I would say the back three, though, definitely need to get involved. Cure for KFC, or sorry, cure for hangover is KFC. Sorry, hay fever. Probably hangover as well, to be fair. Andre Hugo Fenter. To throw this ball in, nicely taken by Marvin Ori. Now trying to get this one rolling forward. It's gone backwards a little bit. I think there's going to be the advantage. I think he just had his shirt stolen there, Andre Hugo Fenter. That one's gone out on the full from Paul the Vet. So a mistake there from the Stormers now gives the Ospreys probably the last chance of the half. I apologize for my nose, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Feel like my nose is going to be very red by the end of this live stream. We're only 38 minutes in. But at least it's a nice day here. 7 degrees Celsius. A bit chilly. And quick question, who will replace Wasps in the English rugby? That's a good question. Very good question, because with the Wasps and also Worcester, I believe, on the other side, we have lost their spot. It's going to be a weird Gallagher premiership because we're going to see either some new sides or a lot less teams in the competition. Now, come on, Stormers with the club name. We should be fine with these conditions. Says Ethan, and outer suburbs got caught up in the floods. We're good, though. We're in a city. Now, nice run forward from the Ospreys. They are inside of the 22 of the Stormers here with 2 minutes left on the clock. Backline for the first time almost in this contest. Good hands there. One more pass on the outside to Giles, who now starts to carve himself down the wing, almost able to dodge all the incoming traffic of the Stormers. Back across now. Nice work for Morgan Morris. 10 metres out from the line now. Reese Webb looks to the short side. Quick hands. Giles put it down. It was also a 4 pass, though. Also, Erling Trailfinders should replace them. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also, should we call you Rudolph? Says Giovanni. It might become a nickname. I mean, of course, Halloween's coming up soon. Same with Christmas. Maybe I've just worked out exactly what I need to dress as this year. Just not quite able to take it there for the man out on the wing, Keelan Giles. And it looks like he's got a bit of a cut on his eyebrow as well in the process. This was nice from the Ospreys, though. A little bit of a set play. Something we haven't seen too often from them in this first half. Run down the wing from George North. Then they spun it wide completely across the field in just the one phase, or almost says sighted in there as well. But it was just the pass. Decent work in the end from Jack Morgan, though, to be able to get involved as much as he did throughout that move. But 5 meters out from their own line here, with 10 seconds left on the clock, all the Stormers need to do is win the scrum, kick the ball out, and we'll go into halftime with a 3-point difference between the two sides. The way this game is changing, I think the Stormers will be happy with a 3-point lead. Yeah, they had the early opportunities, but over the last 20 minutes or so, it seems like the Ospreys have found their feet. Like I mentioned, sometimes the Stormers, they're quick starters, but it's finding that momentum and continuing that momentum throughout the stages after that. Paul Levet, though, about to feed this ball in for the Stormers. Big push from the Ospreys, but it looks like the Stormers, it's gone up in the front rows, and it's going to be another reset. And people grabbing their canoes, running the floods instead, safety first. Adults no ears, says that Nate there, and this half flew by, says Cited, and also need to up the intensity, says Ethan in there as well. Okay, Dewey Lake has just been warned. He said if you get angry each time we go into a scrum, I'm going to reverse a penalty. And also we have got there from Drickus about Mazulu should come on for the Stormers soon. Who would you replace? Would you replace Lillian Zuss? I don't think I've seen too much from him out on the wing throughout this contest yet. So, yeah, I think I would probably get rid of Zuss. Although saying that, a few of the guys in the back line for the Stormers haven't been as prominent as they normally would be throughout the game of rugby. Now, Ivan Roas packing down at the back. If the Stormers won a penalty here, I think they would still take the tap and kick it into touch just to end the half. Right, we're about to find out because they have won the ball here and they have won the penalty. Number 13, the Samoan should come off, says Drickus in there. Although out of him, I guess it's been quite even between him and Dan Duplessis, hasn't it, in terms of who has been the more prominent. I know that Laola has been able to win a penalty turnover in the breakdown and also has had a couple good runs. Dan Duplessis also having a couple good runs throughout the first half of the game, but it is going to be halftime now in this contest. 6 points to 3, a tryless first half between these two sides. Now it's just the question of will the rain affect it in the second half to the extent of not seeing a single try throughout this whole game. I'm not sure whether we've had a URC fixture with no tries scored at all. I'm going to sneeze again. There we go. Gotta love the hay fever. Is it still raining there? It certainly is. Only 9 points and a half. It's been tonight. Says Cited there. I should mention this isn't too bad though. The hay fever, like we have had a live stream. We're at a bleeding nose, which was very unfortunate, and we still continued doing the commentary, even though it was like bucketing down. I pretty much just had to hold it with a tissue and hope for the best, and eventually it did stop. Jeepers Wales, man, says Ethan. And there's, yeah, it's very wet at the moment at the ground. And the other game that was taking place, it is Leinster versus Connacht. We'll give you guys a quick update on that game. It was 7-0 the last time I heard in that fixture. But now, in that game, one moment, it is sitting as still loading. Still loading. The URC. Okay, it's still only 7-0 in the Leinster game as well, but they are still in their first half, so a little bit of a slower start for the game, perhaps. One moment. Yay. Still the same, says Richard. So I guess it's just a low-scoring Saturday, isn't it? Or a low-scoring Friday night for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere and South Africa. Currently here in New Zealand, it is almost 8:30 a.m., hence the hay fever for myself. Hopefully it does clear up before we get too far into the day. And I haven't actually worked out whether or not I'm going back to sleep yet. I think I will be. I think I'll be going back to sleep for a few hours, then waking up and then getting ready for maybe an afternoon live stream or two, depending on what the schedule says. And then also alongside that, we have got a few live streams taking place tomorrow afternoon. That is going to be South Africa versus Fiji in the women's game, New Zealand versus Wales in the women's game. And then alongside that, we have also got the Rugby League World Cup. We are going to be doing one of those matches, England versus Samoa, and then also Bulls versus Munster, I believe, is our other game. A boss, drinks, hydrate, and Basil. Fix your hay fever, says Bianca, says it was Nate. And there as well. So, yeah, I might have to try. I don't know whether or not we got any Basil around, but I can always find out. See if we do have any about. I like how my nose has started to stop running, I guess you could say, now that it's half time, just to be convenient timing. I'm going to check and see what the stats are for this first half as well. I remember last game that we tried to check them, they didn't update them, and Power Nap will help, says cited. And then Saturday, All Blacks versus Japan today, yes, says read them there, Saturday. So I assume we're talking the 29th. And yes, indeed, it is going to be taking place on that day. It's going to be a good matchup. Japan versus Australia, a slightly untelevised one here in New Zealand. If you wanted to find it, you'd have to watch it with a VPN, I believe. They've finished their 3-match series, and now we've got ourselves, I guess, those internationals just around the corner. South Africa, they've got some big games coming up. The penalties, Mani Labok was able to convert them in this contest. Right, the stats, what do we got? Possession, it says it's 57% in favour of the Ospreys, which is an interesting one. Number of tackles, 41 for the Stormers compared to the 34 of the Ospreys. Stormers actually missing 5 tackles, which is something they will want to improve on in the coming 40 minutes. Penalties conceded 4 against the Ospreys, 3 against the Stormers. I jinxed it with the nose thing as well, unfortunately. One moment. There we go. All better. Again, in tackle success, that 94% tackle success for the Ospreys, I think will be very handy for them. And also the fact that at scrum time, they've been pretty solid with that extra 20 kgs might help them. 100 points scored last game, Japan versus Aussie, 52-48. Jeez, that's a high-scoring game. But Japan won in the end. Is that correct, Nathan, that they were able to just get themselves a victory, which will give them a lot of confidence heading forward, I'd say. But yeah, definitely high scoring. We've had a few of those games in recent times. Like both sides just end up getting about the 40-plus points. I believe the other game I can think of recent times was probably either you look at Fiji versus England in the Women's World Cup, or you look at maybe a Gallagher Premiership game. You normally see quite a few points scored in those ones, although currently the Sale Sharks, they are winning 10-0 up against the London Irish at this stage. I'm just going to see when the last real big scoring one. I think it was probably that game that we did cover, the Exeter Chiefs versus Harlequins. That was 43 points to 42. It wasn't too bad in terms of points-wise, I believe. And 7-0 for Leinster at halftime. Japan won, was close, says it was Nate there. And 15-0 to Sale, just scored again, says Ethan. So good news for the Sale Shark supporters in that regard. There you go. But yeah, do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, of the next, we'll go 48 hours. Which game of rugby are you looking forward to the most? Now, we will allow the Rugby League World Cup, if that is something you guys are looking forward to more than Union, but we've got Gallagher Premiership, Top 14, URC, also the Women's World Cup. It's coming just around the corner. And then alongside that, we have got, like I mentioned, the Rugby League World Cup also taking place. Or maybe it's the provincial stuff. Maybe you like yourself a bit of the Heartland Rugby Championship, get a nasal spray that has an antihistamine in it. That really helps for morning bouts. And it's weak enough not to make everything stink, says Bianca. There as well. The thing is, I think it's because I haven't been up this early in a very long time. It will be interesting for the Rugby League World Cup because I will actually be getting up early in the morning for those games, whereas normally I guess I'm up in the afternoon, so I don't really get that sunrise. And France versus England should be a good one. Says, no, Mum, yeah, the 8 p.m. game tonight. I haven't worked out whether or not we're covering that game as of yet. Hopefully we can, though. We'll have to try and work out which game we can squeeze in for the evening. I know at the same time there's also Canterbury versus Bay of Plenty taking place, which I think a lot of people are back in Canterbury to be able to get the job done, but you never know. It's always a tricky world in the game of rugby. 80 minutes, all you need to separate two sides. Currently, the Stormers still sitting as slight favourites in this contest over the Ospreys. I look very purple at the moment. I don't think I am. It's just the lighting at the moment, but we've got some new lights on the way. That one, the bulb blew, unfortunately, so I have had to purchase some new lighting, mainly because the bulb, I don't think it's just the bulb that's the problem. It's actually the whole part, you know. So yeah, that is the plan. Hopefully that will arrive next week and we will be slightly brighter and less purple, or else we'll start getting called Barney the dinosaur as well as Rudolph, and I feel like, you know, we probably don't want either of those nicknames, but they might end up sticking around. Hey, the stats have changed. How did the stats change if we're still in the halftime break? Okay, they've said that the Stormers have missed a tackle in the halftime break. I assume that's because maybe one of the Ospreys walked past them in the changing rooms and they were like, you didn't tackle him, so we'll add another one off your stats. And BPD, Kevin has said, I don't think I've ever seen a worse refereeing display when it comes to the scrum in my entire rugby watching time. Ospreys number one has not stayed straight in a single scrum this entire game, says BPD. Yeah, we've seen a lot of scrum resets throughout the contest. I believe we've seen one penalty for the Stormers and one penalty for the Ospreys, if I'm not wrong. And there, so who knows, maybe in the second half we will see it policed a little bit more. And Mass seems legit about that extra tackle missed, says Ethan there. But 57... although it's become 58% possession now for the Stormers. I'm not sure who's updating this, but I think they're just adding stats for fun. How's your Saturday going, says Barry Green? It has been better, only because of hay fever. Other than that, it's very good. But I've woke up sneezing, which is always one of those ones that when you know you've got a day of either commentary or a bit of sleeping and then commentary, it's always a bit of a one that you don't want too much sneezing to take place. But we've got a couple big live streams later on tonight. At minimum, we are going to have the Rugby League World Cup game between England and Samoa, and then alongside that, Munster versus the Bulls will be the URC fixture that we are covering a bit later on. And 2 penalties to the Stormers for number one going in, but the rest of them, the number one keeps walking around the corner, then going in somehow, it just keeps getting overlooked, says at BPD. And yeah, as well. So yeah, I don't know whether it's because of the wet conditions, they're being a little bit more lenient, maybe, but I don't think they should be overall, but hard to tell in some of these games. Hello, Mum.
6-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
What a wonderful game.
It's been all right. It hasn't been too bad.
Even though there's no points scored.
Yeah, I mean, the other game's only 7-0.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they doing over there?
It's raining. The field's going to be flooded soon.
Okay.
I was a number one. We should get a yellow then if he keeps doing the same thing. What a monster kick by Marnie Lebock. Yeah, they had to check that one. But that 50-22, oh no, you're talking about the 53-metre kick. Yeah, that was an absolute ripper from Marnie Lebock as well. Yeah, very strategic little 50-22. Both sides back out on the field, just about to get underway. What time's England versus Samoa, New Zealand time? Exactly, thanks, says Nuzzy Williams. It is at 2:30 a.m., I believe. I'll just have a quick look and make sure I've got the right time there. But yeah, the plan is going to be to do that game. And then from there, we are deciding whether we're doing Munster versus the Bulls, which I believe we will be doing Munster versus the Bulls. But the other game option is Australia versus Fiji in the Rugby League World Cup. It's going to be the 7:30 a.m. game. It'll be quite an entertaining one, that one, to be fair. So I think we'll have to decide at some stage. I'll probably decide after the Samoa-England game, though. And Yellowbock is pretty smart and doesn't always get the credit he deserves. Says BPD, but this is going to be the kickoff now from the Ospreys, and we are back underway for this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Will we see any tries in the second half? I sure hope so. Clayton Blommakis taking that one down inside of the 22 of the Stormers. Paul the Vet goes back into the pocket to LeBock. It's a good clearing boot on it. It's not going to find touch, though. So the Ospreys now have already had more territory in this half. So they are sitting 45 metres out from the Stormers line than they did have in the whole of the first 20 minutes of the game. That's almost not even an exaggeration. They really did not get any opportunity for the first 20. Martin LeBock not taking that one cleanly. I believe he might have knocked it on as well. Now the Ospreys have got another attacking opportunity. Morgan Morris kicked him behind from Reece Webb. I don't understand that. Had them on the counter attack. Reece Webb's going, do we have the advantage? Now it is going to be the scrum feed for the Ospreys. So we actually get to see this on straight away, BPD. And the Blommakis small flowers are we nicely watered and flourish in this second half, says Ethan. Yeah, I described him in the lineups as a player into that Stormers backline that's taken to it like a duck to water, because it's just looks so natural as soon as he's made his way into that side, and he's pretty much secured that number 15 jersey, which is hard to do. Of course, Damien Willemse, when he comes back, could probably get a little bit of priority over him, although it depends if they decide to go with Willemse at 10 or whether they decide to keep him at number 15. About to be fed in by Reece Webb. Okay, that scrum's looking decent. Oh, okay, I can see what you're saying about. Although I think it was actually Thomas Francis that time who slightly cut in a little bit. Now Reece Webb goes across now to Ethan Roots, 22 metres out. Alan Wynne-Jones gets tackled by Evan Ruas, who was able to drag him down. Now another good attacking run from the Ospreys. Nabakaba tries to get in and get the turnover, unable to do so. Michael Collins, nice short pass. Off now into the hands of it will be Morgan Morris. He's had a very good game so far. Now niddling for shell over the ball. Ospreys forgot to clean out. And because of it, he was just left free to pretty much do what he wants. Willemse had bangers last season at 12. Yeah, I know what you mean, Amish. I like another piece of the puzzle, says Ethan there. The penalty goes the way of the Stormers. Johan niddling for share. Doing very well over the ball. But yeah, they just didn't have anyone there for the Ospreys. Turnovers conceded. We're seeing 10 from the Stormers, 7 from the Ospreys. Now Marnie LeBock will be kicking this one for the touchline. Once again, the odds are still slightly in the favour of the Stormers. Thing is, if they score an early try here, those odds will definitely jump up. It's a good low tackle from Dan Duplessis. And literally no one there. Reece Webb was the man who had to try and clean it out. What do you think of the ref so far? Says Sider. I feel like depending on how I answer this will heavily depend on how many people stay and how many people go. I think at times it's been good. But then at other times it's been a little bit not so good. You know? I feel like that's literally the summary of almost every World Rugby referee at the moment, though. It seems to be across the board, every referee sees things differently, whereas they have got the law book to try and make it so that every ref sees it the same, but they just don't, which is an interesting one. Now, Johan Nielsen for share. It's another penalty to the Stormers, this time for not rolling away, that time against Nicky Smith. And I think also Adam Beard. I like the first response question, Amish, says Ethan. And there as well. And to that question, says Ethan. Marnie LeBock, kicking this one downfield into touch once again, just marching forward here for the Stormers as they move closer and closer to the opposition 22. But Johan Nielsen for share went in. Yeah, Adam Beard. Unfortunately for Nicky Smith, he cannot go for that ball. I don't know what Adam Beard's complaining about, because he literally just lay in the breakdown. Didn't move. Right. Line out here for the Stormers now. 25 metres out is going to be Andre Hugo Fenta. Throws it in nicely. Taken by Ori, who gives it back to the vet. It's going to be Nabakaba. Has one of his first real carries of the matchup. Good run from Evan Ruas. Did score a blinder of a try a couple of weeks ago where he ran about 50 metres down the wing and was able to get himself over the chalk. Be hoping to do that again. Great defense from Wynne Jones. And Nicky Smith now pulled the vet, goes back across the Evan Ruas. Looking for an advantage here if they can get it for the Stormers, just to give themselves that little bit of extra security in the attacking move. Pulled the vet now back across. It's going to be the big man, and that's going to be a penalty to Ospreys, actually pushing a player. Okay, so Salman Mora actually pushed his own player into contact. You're not allowed to do that. So it is considered as a penalty to the Ospreys. I wonder what they call that in terms of the penalty. I guess it's obstruction? Maybe. I feel like if you gave away a penalty for pushing in rugby, people would look at you funny. Now it's going to be kicked into touch by Stephen Myler. Right, so Paul the vet gives it off there to Andre Hugo Fenta. And yeah, Mora just chucks him into Wynne Jones, which you are not allowed to do. Okay, here come the reinforcements. Stephen Kitsoff, Joseph Weber, and then also replacing the number 3, it will be the veteran Brock Harris. If you play, I've got a few names I recognize the Ospreys. One of the biggest names at the Ospreys team, Amish, I would say biggest names, if I had to pick some, you probably go George North, Owen Watkin, Reese Webb, and then Wynne Jones, and then maybe Thomas Francis or Dewey Lake. Maybe Adam Beard at a stretch. I guess probably the biggest names that a lot of people don't watch a lot of Welsh rugby would know. Oh, a little bit of a juggle there for Mora. And also sounded like a dumb penalty. It was a dumb one to give away from Mora. Because, yeah, you're not allowed to try and create extra acceleration for your teammate by shoving him into a tackle. Oh, that's a knock on from, I believe, yes, it was actually the knock on from the number 9. And this one pulled the vet, so it will be now the scrum feed for the Ospreys. And also we've got the High says Amelia, welcome in. Is this ref really Italian? I haven't seen him make a single Italian hand signal. Yes, excited. Believe he is, either that or just a very strong Italian accent. And I fair play, yeah. Quite a few actually, not a bad team based on their names anyway. So here's Ethan there, but yeah, Stephen Kitsoff hit the contact straight into Nicky Smith. But then he's dropped on his back and just a little bit of a juggle on the ground. Good tackle made by Jack Morgan. Brock Harris went for the clean out, and the ball just ended up bouncing free. Paul the vet unable to get it. Right. Kitsoff only just out on the field. Looks like he's already taken a knock to the nose. Wynne Jones, the veteran of this Ospreys and the Welsh side. Is he scheduled to be in the Welsh internationals this year? Because if he is, it wouldn't even surprise me at this point. The man just keeps on going and going and going. But, you know, at the moment, is he going to be there at the 2023 World Cup? It's probably the big question I have got. I only have a few days left of high school and I'm nervous but also excited, says Amelia. So, yeah, hopefully you do enjoy your closing days of high school. Do you guys, I guess, do you have some sort of leavers ceremony, Amelia? Do let me know. I know that when we were at school, you get like a candle and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know whether or not that is just a small New Zealand high school thing or whether that's like a everything or everywhere thing. Right, scrum reset. Again, my front row's going down. Kitsoff's going to be a big problem for Thomas Francis in this front row, I would think. Same could be said about Brock Harris and also his opponent, Nicky Smith. The thing is, Brock Harris got himself a man of the match performance off the bench. And I believe it was the last game for the Stormers. And also, you get a candle? We do, yeah. Pretty much, it's a candle. And it's got your name written on it, what year you started high school, what year you ended high school. And also, we have there, what is the idea there? Symbolic of what? Says Ethan, I guess it's just symbolic of, well, I think the deeper meaning of it's supposed to be that it's like the candle, you know, it's like, it's lit. And then from there, it's like your knowledge is continuously burning. Something like that. It's kind of cool looking, to be fair. It was Wynne Jones is like a diesel engine. He just keeps going even after a massive explosion, says Cited. And Monday and Tuesday, we've got dress-up days. And Wednesday, we have like this year 12 breakfast, year 12 assembly, like a valedictory dinner on Wednesday night. Here's Wednesday. So, yeah, sounds a little bit similar to what we had. Now, Blommakeys takes it beautifully for the Stormers. They are currently inside of their own half, although Ospreys turnover penalty from George North getting in there. Oh, right, interesting. So here's Ethan there. I'm sure they've got a different reasoning behind it, though. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, that looks cool. We like fire. I remember the shed at school lit on fire. It was a Woodtech shed. And like some random people, I think, came to the school and just tried to light things on fire. Fun times. This sounds like I'm from like a really dodgy school. It's not really. It's just someone was bored, I think. And they didn't go to the school, which was the weirder part. And I was Alan Jones, more like Arnold S. Saying, I'll be back, says Dull. Yeah. Every time, like the British and Irish Lions tour, when he got injured and everyone said, nah, that's him done for the season. And he came back like 4 weeks later and went, hello. Yeah, just got me shoulder put back and got a new one ready. And looks like I'm going to be playing for the British and Irish Lions again. Like he will more than likely have some sort of role in them for the next tour. Might not be playing, but maybe some sort of like coaching or traveling player type thing. Shabrani will be played at 13. We played where he can stretch them wheels on the wings. I'm very sure he'll benefit AB's attack. He is big. I could trust his defense over Clark, says Katenda. It's a good question because I know that number 13 currently they've got Rico Ioane really secured in there. I guess question Katenda. I don't think they'll do it. Could you see in or 13 because Ioane's gone to the left wing? Maybe, who knows? Ospreys have just got the conversion, by the way, with that penalty, so now it makes the score 6-all. And you always thought, you were a bit weird. Hamish Dodgy School of Candles explains it, says Ethan. It's good weird, though, isn't it? Like, not bad weird. Probably a bit of both. Overall, bit of a mixed bag of weirdness is the Kiwi Lads channel. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You never know what you're going to get, just like Forrest Gump said about the box of chocolates. I'm listening to the crowd trying to work out what they're saying. All I hear is, and I don't know what that is. But I assume it's actually a word that I'm missing out on. Or maybe didn't hear properly. Anyone for the Ospreys? What were they just chanting then? Do let me know. Was it Osprey? It could have been Ospreys at a stretch, maybe. Run by Joseph de Weber there. That's not straight. Somewhere that let him down at international level. I feel like he doesn't even fight the weird. He aims for a good weird consolation. Says, I like how he doesn't fight the weird. Yeah. It's one of those ones that if I constantly tried to stop weirdness from happening on the channel or like any like awkward moments, I love awkward moments. For some reason, they just suit it so well. So like if we can create an awkward or a weird moment that makes someone go, a bit weird, but they don't mind it. I mean, that's kind of the goal of the, well, it's not the complete goal of the channel, but it's one of the ones that we're like, we always want to have light-hearted live streams on there. And looks like the rain is dying down a bit. Yeah, we might see some attack in rugby in the second half. Although the thing is, rain dying down still looks pretty wet at the moment at the ground. So hopefully it gets lighter and lighter. Don't it mean going to start a new start? I'm talking about the candle. It could be maybe a new start to life. Although I think a lot of people put their candles out pretty much straight away afterwards. I love a bit of awkward humor, says Ethan. Well, then this channel is for you because we have plenty of it. Currently 52.5 minutes through, 40 metres out. Ospreys have got themselves a scrum feed that is 40 metres out from their own line. They are sitting in a game that has been very close. Front rows both going down. They've been told to use it. Now the back line might get involved. Nice step from Michael Collins. Wrestled down to the ground. Good clean out from the Ospreys backs, I believe it was, who had to do that. Now downfield, Reece Webb gives it off to Myler. Gone straight to Clayton Blommakeys. This is what the Ospreys wanted to try and avoid throughout this match. Has kicked him behind from Blommakeys. Sits up nicely for Nagy. Got some distance on that one. It's actually going to bounce and staying in the field of play. Didn't get a huge amount of distance, actually, now that I think about it. Only getting down to the halfway line, but it stayed in the field of play. You know, at 13 would have worked when Crotty was at 12, maybe with Anton Leonard-Brown at 12 with Eno 13, and Rico to the wing, maybe Crusaders' familiarity. I almost got that word right, didn't I? And also we have got there could prove good too with Havili at 12. And this game is being a bit awkward for my Stormers, but it ain't humorous, says Ethan. Yeah, it's been a bit too close. Definitely for a side that have come from scoring 4 tries in all of their last fixtures of the game. And please with the Jerry and Basil Leaf on top. Will you do the Munster game, please? Did I say please? Says Bianca. So the plan currently is to do Samoa versus England at 2:30 a.m. That opens up the door for either 7:30 a.m. of England, or sorry, not England, Fiji versus Australia. This might actually be the first try of the match for the Stormers. It is indeed. It's a line break. And Paul DeVette runs it in. Just like that. I got distracted. But very nice drive for the Stormers. So that will be their first of the match. They need 3 more if they want the bonus point win. Paul DeVette, though, the veteran of the Stormers, does do nicely. So it was just a good attack and run from Mani Labok. Inside ball. And then from there, Lelian Zasi had the man on the outside, found Paul DeVette, and managed to get himself a beautiful try. I wasn't really expecting that try, to be honest. It kind of came out of nowhere, but it was a good try to have just around the corner. But yeah, it is either going to be Fiji versus Australia or Munster versus the Bulls for that 7:30 a.m. Of course, DeVette scores. He is in his element, wet conditions, says Ethan there. And incoming says side and hey, try Stormers, says Nate. And come on, the Stormers, bring up the storm. We can do this. And candles represent that your journey begins. The future is bright, says Nate there. Okay. But yeah, my candle sitting in a box at the moment, I think. Oh, the TMO want to check this one. It's us. Gave it gas to break the line. Okay, I have no idea what was just said by the TMO. I believe he also speaks Italian. We want to try confirmation. What are we checking for? Is it the kits off pass, is it? Oh. Okay, no, they're actually checking for a yellow card offence, possibly. And Argo ATMO, no one likes you. Although he might be given a card to an Ospreys player, so you may have to take it back there. That is a hit to the head from Ethan Roots. It might be worth a yellow. No, it's not worth a yellow. It is just considered as what would have been a penalty. And DeVette, Stormers in form number 9, says Drickus there. That is going to be 13 points to 6. Mani Labok, I think he was asking for a yellow card now after the kick. I feel like he should have been asking for it before he did the kick. But it's going to make the score now 13 points to 6 in favour of the Stormers. I'm going to the soccer tonight. I'm really excited because my mum is going because it's her first sporting event in 3 years, says Amelia. So that will be the A-League, if I'm not wrong. That reminds me, the Wellington Phoenix, I think, actually play tomorrow. That looks like some sort of injury here. Okay, it's a head injury. I believe that's actually Reese Webb, who has stayed down now. Some sort of head/neck injury. Hopefully he is going to be all right, but currently... Okay, Stephen Kitsoff was just asking... Oh, Clayton Blomikis is actually down, so I think they want to check something else here. I think this game's going to become a TMO one, because it seems like a lot of the players want them to go upstairs and check things. And, yeah, I guess we've got time to burn, don't we? Anyway, I'm going to have a look while this game has a bit of a stoppage at what the score is in Leinster versus Connacht. It's a close game currently. 7-0 was what it was sitting last time. Yeah, it's the A-League. I'm going to Melbourne Victory versus West Sydney Wanderers. Yes, I'm a West Sydney Wanderers fan, says Amelia there. So, 7-0 for Leinster over Connacht. A close game. If Connacht score now, anyone's game for the taking, you would have to say. Wynne Jones looking like he was going to give a speech, but then he didn't say any words. But does he need to, Wynne Jones? At the end of the day, I feel like his eyes tell stories of pretty much decades of rugby. You know, you just look at him and you go, yep, And then you just go out there and you just play the game of your life. GMO, bellissimo, colour this game. Ospreys been naughty boys, I bet. Says Ethan there. Looks like Diamani now going off the field for the Stormers, and that will be Willie Engelbrecht, the Pumas representative, making his way out onto the field. Now, Champions Cup this year is going to be wild with South Africa sides included, says Drickus. Exactly right. I know that the Harlequins straight away play the Sharks. It's a shame that one of those two sides can't make it further than the first round of the competition. But yes, a big game. That was a big yawn. Right, Reece Webb looks like he's going to be all right to continue. Marnie Lebock now with 22 metres out from his own line. Will be kicking this one downfield. Looking for touch. And oh man, yeah, Drickus, English teams are, and especially French, tasty, says Ethan. Okay, the rain is back in action, says Sighted. Yeah, it's quite heavy, isn't it? I like how some people in the crowd are just like, yeah, this is normal. We just wear our normal clothes, really. We don't need a hood or a jacket. It's a bit wet, but who cares? It's kind of the attitude that they've got. But yeah, a couple low-scoring games for a Saturday morning of rugby, but that's not straight from Joseph Dweber again. He's currently, I believe, 2 not straight lineouts from 2, which is definitely not what he would have been after, and now it's going to become the scrum feed. He's complaining about something, Joseph Dweber. I think he's complaining to his forwards, saying that they didn't tell him what they wanted to do quick enough. I mean, it wasn't too bad overall. Oh, what's that spray? I think that's like drying spray. Make it easier to catch the ball. It's like there might be another sub coming just around the corner, and it might be Marcel Tennyson. Makes his way out there. And Sharks are going to go down against the Harlequins. They might have the big names, but lack the coaching department and heart in the team, says Drickus. And Joseph Dweber know how to lift. Maybe give some lineouts to Forey to throw. And if that works, we can at least back him for the box. Besides, utility is a premium at the box, says Gatenda. And also, we have got that Dweber lad. You need your eyesight check. That's going to be the penalty to the Ospreys as well. So it goes from bad to worse for Joseph Dweber there. And I think he's asking for the penalty as well here. Joseph Dweber might be best to just go back to the mark. Loose head angling in. So it's against Brock Harris. And his guns are big. He can't throw a line out straight. And Katenda Forey is a legend. I remember him even playing centre for Lyon. And also, I found a leech on my cat last night. Luckily, it was dead. A leech? Where does a cat get a leech from? Australia, eh? Guess they're just another level with the old species of what lives in Australia. The spiders and snakes and crocodiles and all sorts. Now, line out for the Ospreys. 25 metres. Oh. Okay, no one was ready. That child was confused at why no one threw the ball. Okay, they weren't quite on the mark. 14 wins on the bounce for the Stormers, they have said, in a row in this URC competition, including last year. He is reversing full speed out of that bot contention, old Dweber, says Ethan. Yeah, the problem is he's so good in the field. Like, running game's solid. It's a very hard man to stop, but his line out is literally why he's in the team, if that makes sense. As a hooker, you've got pretty much 2 jobs. Hook the ball in the scrum and throw the ball straight in a line out. And if you can't do those 2, that's where you kind of lose your positioning. Like, he's just made a good tackle there, but he's had 2 not straight lineouts. And will anyone watch Pumas or Requas in the Premiership? Says 123MS. Is it rumoured that they are actually going to make their way into the Premiership? Because, I mean, if they're willing to play all their games in England, I could see it happening. But I don't see the English sides making their way to South Africa to play when they could just go up the road, if that makes sense. I have a pond at the bottom of my street, and the cat may have went for a swim. I see Antwerp has been all hype and no show. Says Drickus there, and that last power is on Hip Hop Horror. Hopefully I said that correctly. From Johannes. And Joseph Dweber, Glenn from Takiaho, hold the ball and run. Says Nate. And that's the thing. Last year, Takiaho was in the same scenario. Believe it or not, him and Asafa Moa, everyone was saying they shouldn't be an All Black because they couldn't throw a line out straight. But the difference is Samasoni Takiaho has spent the last year just tirelessly working on that line out to try and get it a bit more consistent. And it's paid off for him because now he's shown his skills in the running game, but also his lineouts are solid enough that he keeps that starting lineup spot. And the many Sea Eagles sacked, or the Manly Sea Eagles sacked Des Hasler. I did see they had done that. Nah, man, you know the box are all about the basis and set piece. You can't do that, forget it, says Ethan there. And his arms are good for scrummaging and general play, but not lineouts, it seems. Says Cider right. It looks like the reinforcements have been unleashed here for the Ospreys as well. It's going to be Scott Baldwin, Reece Henry, and I believe Tom Porter also making his way out onto the field. Rumour has it teams will be promoted to the Premiership like Ealing. No report of Pumas or the Greek was joining, says Drickus. Yeah, I guess it makes more sense for them to just get sides from the Championship because they're already in England type thing. I guess it will add a whole heap of new names that we've never really seen before. No rumours, just my idea. I think they're willing to be relocated to the UK, says 123 MS. And yeah, but the All Blacks throw the ball around, more frills to the game, whereas set piece is about 80% of the bot game, not too many frills, says Ethan. Oh, speaking of thrills, though, I do see that it is going to be Ingo Mezulu making his way out onto the field. He is a very dangerous man. Comes to that back line. Right. 20 minutes left on the clock. It's been a slow build-up of the second half as we currently sit in the Leinster Connacht game. I believe, other than the try early on from Kieran Frawley, that was actually Foley who scored the try early on in the 4th minute. Other than that, there have been no other points in the Leinster Connacht game. And what about the Wellington-Auckland game? Auckland blown out of the park. Yeah, it was very one-sided. 54 points put on the board for Wellington. I think we mentioned it a little bit. It wasn't the only reason, but I think something that really helped Wellington was the fact that they didn't really have too many All Blacks this year. And the reason I say that is because they've been able to play consistently as a team. Whereas Auckland, they've had players going in, players going out. And now that they're into that stage of the playoff games, they've lost quite a few of their players that they were, I guess, basing their team around a little bit, whether it was Tuivasa, Sheck, Kiriwani getting a little bit of a chance. A little bit later on in that 4-pack, you got a few other names lurking in there. But, yeah, Wellington have been playing immense rugby this year. Another try for the boys would be relaxing now. And our all box for the Stormers side playing. So I believe Herschel Yankees and also Damien Valimza both out for this game. Other than that, though, I believe the box that are there from the last, I guess, league of the international matches, you've got Kitsoff, you've got also Joseph Dweber, if you do count him there. And then also, you've got Marvin Ori and Salman Morat, but they were both taken out for the last leg of the Rugby Championship. No Stormers. Only have 3 box playing, says Drickus. And also 9 in a row, says Heath. So, yeah, very good season for Wellington. And they've got themselves that Ram Fairley Shield as well. So it's kicked straight out on the full from Clayton Blomekes. Bit of a mistake there. And now the Ospreys may be able to capitalise. It's going to be... it wasn't kicked straight out. I don't know what the commentator was saying. That's another not straight line out, but this time it's not straight from the Ospreys. Okay, the scrum has been called. Yeah, that was not straight from Scott Baldwin. Straight as an S, I guess is the best way of describing that line out. Throws kits off Dweber and Morat. And Dweber not throwing straight shake my head, says Simp Slayer in there. Well, at least it's not just him and the number 16s who are making the mistakes. Okay, they've got the live standings. They've got Leinster as number 1. That is because they are currently playing up against Connacht. Then alongside that will be the Stormers in second. Ulster, they have got their game up against the Lions later on tonight. At least the Weber's deficiencies are contagious, says Ethan in there as well. Hey, Paul Levette about to put the ball into the scrum. My biggest win for schoolboy rugby was my first home game and won 48-0. We played at home, we won 64-0. Says Heath there, that's a tough scrum. Okay, what's the call here from the ref? I think he said there's too much movement, so we're going to have to go down for another scrum. And which Stormers and Leinster face each other soon, says Simp Slayer. Yeah, we have to wait about 120-something days, don't we? See those two sides go head-to-head. So, yeah, I don't know. By then, maybe they're both still top 2 sides of the competition. Maybe someone drops down. Who knows? Like, with the URC being as competitive as it is, either Leinster or the Stormers could be sitting 5th by that stage. And also, we have got their... Hamish used a solid main. Says it was Slayer And there's our welcome, mate. Hope you are doing very well. And do let me know of the games later on in the URC, which one you're looking forward to the most. Jadia Kutsa is a better hooker than Dweber. Also, Husin is up and come and send Dweber on loan to the Kings, says Drickus there. And if Ngo Mizulu plays well consistently, well, it doesn't always mean you get the points. Maybe you could be in with the box. I hope by then I know how to say his name consistently, because I know that Kurtley Arunser was one that I really messed up quite a bit when he was in the bot kit. Eva Roos now looking for the offload to pull the vet. 40 metres out. That's a knock on. It's going to be another scrum. And Wellington made history if they win the NPC Cup. Says Heath and Refman, the Stormers front row clearly would flatten that Ospreys front row. Common sense, lad. Says Ethan, it's going to be kicked downfield. In fact, we don't go to the scrum. They just decided to keep the ball alive. And now kicking in behind. Oh, there's way too much on that kick. Way too much. Oh, no, it's curled. It's as if it knew where the dead ball line was. It's going to be forced and scrum 2 sets champion. So it was going to be a scrum to the Ospreys for the knock-on, but they did end up keeping that one for a little bit longer, keeping it alive. So now instead it's goal line dropout. And do the South Africa teams have the depth for championship to be competitive in the URC? I would say so. At the end of the day, they've got an ever-growing pool of South African talent. Like, you look at a few of the Curry Cup sides, you could easily pull in a few teams or pull in a few players if you do need it. And Ngaume Zulu. And there's some, and also we have got there, do you have any idea what they are chanting? Alan. It could be Alan. That's a decent observation. I was confused. I thought it was just, so I don't think it was my one. And also said, like, phonetic alphabet, Gomezulu. Now available for the Ospreys. 30 metres out from their own line here. Will be the replacement number 21, Ruben Morgan Williams. But that's kick high. If the Ospreys score now, they are still well and truly in this contest. Even if it's a 3-pointer, Clayton Blomakis now tries to break through. Good tackle made by Dan Lydiot. I think Adam Beard was slightly offside there. But they have decided to play on just for now. Nice tackle made. Trying to wrestle his way forward there. It is Marcel Tennyson. Ospreys try and get over the ball. The player is still in the breakdown though, so unable to contest. Pull the vet. Now it goes across to Kitsoff. Joseph Dweber's put the ball down, and it's going back. Another mistake from Dweber here. Okay, he's complaining that Kitsoff didn't find his hands. Kitsoff puts his hand up and apologizes, but I think as Dweber, you got to catch those. And which team do you support in the URC? Luckily, I am pretty impartial. I'm from New Zealand, so I do get to watch all of these games from a neutral point of view. Favorite team's a tough one to pick, though. I mean, I have a couple soft spots for a couple of the South African sides. Also, I do enjoy watching that structure play that we do see from a couple of the Irish teams. Maybe they're chanting in Welsh. Says cited that is also an option. Salman Moura, he will be going off the field, and Ernest van Reenen will be making his way out onto the field now. Ernest van Rijn, sorry. And Alan Wynne Jones is going off the field. And that will be for Rhys Davies, I believe. Alan Wynne Jones, he'll be back in 2027 for the next World Cup. After this next one, Dweber, mate, you got to sting the place out. I'll sum myself out at this point, the kind of game he is having. And also, so you watch Super Rugby, I do indeed do cover a lot of the competitions around the world on the channel. Also, the Sevens we do end up covering quite a bit of. And the Hong Kong Sevens has been announced. That's going to be taking place from, I believe, the 3rd to the 5th of November. And I actually have a screenshot here of the pool. So South Africa are part of Pool B alongside France, Great Britain, and Uruguay. And then New Zealand, Samoa, Australia, and Hong Kong all in Pool A. Should be entertaining one to watch. And hello, says Nico there. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well once again. Currently absolutely bucketing down at the moment. I will go to the nets. Well, then, mate, see ya. Says he. So we will see you a little bit later on. Stormers and the Bulls says 123 MS. Right. Ball being fed in by Ruben Morgan Williams. Oh, that's gone down in the front row, and that will be the penalty in favour of the Ospreys. Kitsoff disappointed there. Dweber also disappointed, and same with Brock Harris, collapse and scrum. And also we have got there, what happened to your friend Rugby Guru, says Alfie. I think he's still, I don't know if he's been doing too many of the URC games, but he's still about. I talked to him a week or two ago, I think, or a couple of weeks, yeah. And also, who's going to coach the blitz box? That's a good question. Now that Neil Powell is out of the question, could be anyone really making their way and go on the blitz box. And also Dweber is one of the worst by Stormers done. Says Johannes and Stormers scrum not working. And also, what is the time in South Africa? Says Nico, the time at the moment in South Africa, I want to say is either 10 p.m. or 10 p.m., I believe. Oh, okay, 10 p.m. by the sounds of it. It's actually a relatively late night game in South Africa, I guess. Right. Kick attempt here for the Ospreys to get them within the 7. And yeah, that is the concern, Rickus. And there's us, says Ethan. Stepping up to the plate. That one's gone over. And that will now make the score 9 points for the Ospreys, 13 for the Stormers. Still 12 minutes left on the clock. Either side can win this game from here. I believe the betting odds are relatively close as they currently sit. It's going to be a tough game to decide who gets themselves the victory. And like they're saying, the Stormers, they were able to take their opportunities in the first half, whereas in the second half, we're seeing a little bit more of the Ospreys. The rain is getting heavier. I didn't think that was possible with how wet it was earlier on. Rugby Guru was supposed to cover this game, but he never did. People were waiting nothing to happen, says Drickus. And there as well, I know that he did say a few weeks ago to me that his Wi-Fi has been playing up a little bit. So maybe it could be something to do with that. And also, it's just pissing non-stop, says Miminia there. And it's raining hard now. Damn, all the water to collect. Says Sim Slash. That one's going to be kicked into touch. Yeah, that's a lot of water. You can actually hear it through the microphones now. And while that rain is chucking down, and Ethan probably going to bring Africa or Snyman as the coach. Cecil Africa would be an interesting coach for them, just because he is being involved in the setup. They never actually played him. Oh, geez, that's a lot of rain. That is wet. That is very wet. And come on, Dweber. Whether it's like your nose situation, Hamish, I'm blaming you, says Ethan. Well, right on cue, one moment. Luke Morgan's made his way onto the field. That is for Michael Collins. Now the rolling maul starts for the Stormers. The ball's been dropped at the back, but it's going back for the penalty in the pouring wet. Dweber has a really good way of always looking confused no matter what is going on. Which I don't know whether that's a compliment or not, but, you know, he looks like he's always thinking. It may not be thinking about, like, what's happening in the rugby game, but just always thinking. Trying to work out how to solve all the world's problems while taking part in a rolling maul. So once it starts storming, we'll get a better performance. Says Cited and well 11 Las Vegas. The time here is 1:12 in the afternoon. Now Marnie Lebok looking to line up this kick. Yeah, Marnie Lebok's face is just absolutely drenched. And I think he actually is confused, not just the look, says Ethan. Now Marnie Lebok looking to line up this kick. 9 minutes left. And this will extend it back to the 7. So the draw is still on the cards, depending on how it goes. Dweber screwing the Stormers, just like he screws the box. Can't throw, can't catch. What can he do? He's all right at running, I guess. But, like, that he hasn't really got too much going for him at the moment, unfortunately. I love how you are calling is astonishing stupidity confusion, says Drickus there. Right, Lebok. It's one of those ones. This kick's important. Taking his time, even though the crowd are going to boo him a little bit for him. Taking a minute or so. Wants to make sure the kick goes over. And it does. It's going to make the score. Sitting now 9 points for the Ospreys and 16 for the Stormers. Come on, Marnie Lebok. Okay, got to go. Bye. See you later, mate. Hope you do enjoy the rest of your afternoon. The commentators has just said he can't think of a game that they've seen rain like this in a very long time. Soak up the atmosphere, money, too right. And on fire this morning, says Nuzzy Williams. And also, let's go the Stormers, says Simp Slayer. And there as well, 8 minutes left on the clock. This last 20 minutes has flown by pretty quickly. Now Paul the Vet about to kick it downfield from just inside of his 22. He might have done his knee in the process, unless he was just doing what you do when you're playing like lawn bowls and you kind of follow it down. See that happen quite a bit. I think they were in touch there, the Stormers. Double blow of the whistle. Giovanni. They said out. He's out. Okay, line out now, going the way of the Ospreys. I wonder if anyone brought a bucket to the rugby, because, I mean, at least it's free drinks. Although I don't know why you bring a bucket. A glass, or you're not allowed glass, are you? A plastic cup might be sufficient enough. Do they really expect a hooker to have an intelligent look on their face? Says Bianca. Well, maybe that's some of his problem. Maybe he is thinking about other things, and that's why his line out is about 3% for the season, unfortunately. Nah, it's a little bit higher than that. I'll give him 30%. At the moment, Marnie showing Rusty and box selectors is even cool in a storm. Legit weather, says Drickus there. And Marnie really wants to be the box new fly half, and I think he's got a good chance at the moment, the way he's been playing. And also, for those who don't know, the Stormers are not called that for nothing. Oh, we know that weather, says Mimini, and never mind fly box or fly half of the box. Might be a spot at hooker for Marnie. The way the Weber is going about it, says Ethan. Although I said it from the injury when we saw Joseph Weber, and also we saw the injury of Bongi on Banambi, I was saying you got to try and get, I wanted to see Johan Robler in there, although his line out at times has been a little bit shaky as well this year. But I do enjoy watching that man play, and he seems to really be able to propel a rolling ball forward, which is something that the box are definitely going to be using in the future of the game. This Ospreys side ain't going down easily, says some Slayer. And now, with the penalty one, they are going to be kicking it into the 22. So another 6.5 minutes left. Joseph or Weber at this rate can even be the water boy, says Strickers. Although in conditions like this, do you need a water boy, or can you just straight up at the sky? Is rainwater healthy for you? I know that it's supposed to be not too bad, but it has got some sort of chemicals in it, doesn't it? And rumors are rugby hookers IQ count, same as their number on their back, only rumors, says Nuzzy Williams. Nicely taken. Brilliant rolling ball now for the Ospreys. Although it's been well defended by the Stormers, they've been able to just keep this one in the field of play, and they've got the advantage as well. No, it's not healthy, says Champions there. Now back across. Here come the Ospreys. Great one-on-one tackle there from Lelian Zas. He's got his hands almost on the ball as well. As Scudder and Benny still injured, says cited. I believe so. Although if he's not, I think he's going to be playing next week. Just a guess. Will the box be Ireland at home? That's going to be a very tough game, that is for sure. Don't know. It's a tricky one. Okay, bye to Weber. Not even a water boy shot for you. And his match is on the edge now. And also 6 minutes left, says Champions. It is indeed. So, at the moment, the Ospreys, they need a converted try to get them back to a draw. Now, that would actually, I would say, hurt the Stormers more than it hurts the Ospreys ending in a draw for this match. I'm confused at why my scoreboard has forgotten. I think it was, maybe it just heard me, because as I was pointing at it, it updated. Bit weird, isn't it? And I thought you were saying, or you said Marnie kicked it. I thought they were 7 ahead. He did. The scoreboard was just very asleep. But, oh, no, he won't be back for another 4 months. What injury has he got? Because as long as he can get those lineouts straight, he'll be right, you know? Might not be a terrible option. And come on, the Stormers says Champions, and yes, cited, says there in the chat as well. Right, the Stormers, they're going to be on defense. Looks like he's not too happy with that kick from Myler, about 7 meters out. Adam Beard takes it nicely, and the rolling ball commences. Baldwin at the back. This is good. This is great. That is sensational from the Ospreys, and they've scored it with 5 minutes left on the clock. This is going to be one of the most important kicks of the day. An ACL tear. And you've got the point, it's your fault. Says it was Ethan, and I hope this match doesn't end in a draw, or you can use it for battery water. Says Tinker there, but this could now lead to an even contest after about 76 minutes of this contest. I said contest way too many times in that sentence, but also the other game that is going on, Leinster versus Connacht. I believe it's quite close in their game also. I'm going to see the update. It is still 7-0 between Leinster and Connacht. And bad man, says Ethan in there. Yeah, the rolling ball of the Ospreys was just a little bit too strong. They managed to get it round nicely, and then the defence just kind of parted a little bit. Okay, they're actually going to check this one on the TMO. It must be fun speaking Italian to an Italian TMO, because I have no idea what's just been said. So I don't know what they're checking. And I thought, this is bad. Says Drickus there. And also, did you dare point at that scoreboard? Says Ethan. And all that, my guy. Come on, Stormers. What's going on now? Right. Deliberate offside is what they are checking for. Okay, the Welsh commentator said it looked like they were pretty bound to me, but I would think he would say that even if they were not bound. It's 7-0. Said a soccer match, Leinster versus Connacht, says Nate there. And Connacht is useless. Although they're doing well to keep it as close as they have at this stage, I guess. Okay, everyone speaks a different language on the TMO and the refereeing panel. Okay, no, it's okay, the try stands. So that is going to remain as 14 points to 16. I don't know how much of it they checked. So we didn't actually get to see it upstairs. They just kind of looked at it again in silence and went, meh, it's all right. Now Stephen Myler lining up this kick. 76 minutes through this contest. I will mention the Stormers. They have been able to get themselves a bonus point win in every game throughout the URC so far. Just getting a win here may be a big enough challenge up against this Ospreys side who have really turned up for this weather. Myler, such an important kick. Once again, the scoreboard's decided that it wants to tell us whether it's gone over. But Myler strikes it and, yep, straight down the middle. So it's going to make the score 16-all. And you doing live commentary or discussing players? Guess it's you. Or I guess it's you can't be blamed. 10 minutes later, you score scoreboard, not updating. Why do I even waste my time? Shame to play glorify club rugby. Says get it. And there as well. Exactly. And TMO, I find something G. I didn't look hard enough, I reckon, says Ethan. And can't beat Leinster at home. Shake my head, says Sim Slayer. But now it's going to be kicked off once again. The Ospreys in position. 3 minutes left on the clock. Now back across, it's going to be Ruben Morgan Williams and Marnie. This weather ruined this game, or man, this weather ruined this game for the Stormers. Rule number one, don't be a deuce. And will a drop kick win this game? It certainly could. At the moment, both of these sides have got a great opportunity. That one's going to go into touch. And also exactly fantastic reply, Hamish, says Ethan. And there are currently 2 minutes left on the clock. Whoever that was looked like a bigger Mornay Smith. I think that was Tom Borta. He has a drop kick will do, says Simp Slayer. So I guess it's a big question of who's brave enough to go for it. I feel like Mania Lebok probably going to be that guy if he gets the opportunity. The weather killing the Stormers, says Champions. Although also I will mention it's not just the weather that's killing them. It's this man's line out. Joseph Dweber about to throw it in. Once again, I really hope this is straight for the sake of the Stormers supporters. Right, no pressure, Joseph. You've only thrown, I think, one straight out of 3 or 4. Close enough. So that's going to be allowed. The rolling maul now. Stormers looking to get this one marching forward. They might get themselves a penalty advantage. No, not yet. Now back across. Nice work from Evan Ruas. Similar. Goes across like this, saying no penalties is exactly what the Ospreys need here. 40 metres out. Great flat run from Evan Ruas. They can't get that bonus point win, but they can still get themselves that win. Marnie Lebok now on the outside. Dan Duplessis, nice carving run up to the 22. Now Miss Simler goes back across. Marvin Ori doing beautifully there. Miss Simler back across. Kits off now. They are continuing to go phase after phase after phase. 79 minutes through. No hands is a call there. Now Miss Simler goes off to the right-hand side. Marnie Lebok. Now, this is set up that they could go for a drop kick if they really want it. But if I was the Stormers here, I keep on going phase after phase and just try and create that offside penalty advantage or something along those lines. Now, Ernest van Ren, nice run forward. Masimla going back again. Marnie Lebok goes for the drop kick. He's lined it up and he's missed. Well, he tried it. Marnie Lebok there. A ref didn't make a wish on Dweber. Says Drickus there. It seems that the match ended in a draw. That will make the competition very interesting. My days, even ref felt sorry for him there. And South Africans are always making grass, his cover pitch. And there, so Marnie Lebok, he had the opportunity to have his golden moment in this match, but it missed. Now there are 5 seconds left on the clock. The thing is, the Ospreys, they still have to go for the 22 dropout, though. So the position will go back into the hands of the Stormers and not the main Marnie after all, says... And it was Ethan. And also we have got there, come on, we could have got a penalty. Yeah, it seemed a little early, premature to go for that drop kick. It's kicked downfield. as far as they can. Great control from the Stormers. Now another attacking opportunity, although this time they're attacking from 60 out rather than about 16. They've got a lot more of the field. And now there's the option of the Ospreys winning a penalty with where they are on the field as well. Let's not forget that as another choice. Now, the Stormers, they don't want the draw here. It looks like they are going to continue to run at Brock Harris. Going to get tackled there. Now, Clayton Blomakis tries to go through. Tell you what, the Stormers will be kicking themselves if they give away a penalty here. Stolen. The advantage for the knock-on. So it's going to be play on now for the big man. And now Ospreys back in possession, trying to get the turnover and the breakdown. Now back across to the short side. The first thing they need is that advantage to be over, because the last thing they want is for it to go back for the scrum, because then the game will be over. Kits off, committing to that breakdown, trying to get over the ball, not able to do so. Morgan Williams now goes across Ospreys, phase after phase. Is that a knock-on? Yes, it is. Now it's play on for the Stormers. Now it's back the other way. That looked like a 4-pass on the ground. It is going to be the end of the game, and it's going to end. Is it? Okay, time is over, my fault. Referee wanted to play a scrum in the 81st minute. He was like, why don't we just keep playing, boys? But that, I believe, is the end of the game? Or is it? Okay, Stephen Kitsoff wanted them to check foul play. Referee was still confused at how long the game of rugby was. It's now over and it's a draw. Draw. Bad man says Ethan there and South Africa team struggling overseas. Says some slow. I want to say struggling. I feel like they've had some pretty good runs. Overall, the Lions have been winning their games on the road. Same with the Bulls and the Sharks. They were a little bit unlucky up against Leinster, but that was always going to be a tough game in there as well. But yeah, so pretty much it was 81 minutes through. The referee wanted to play the scrum. I think someone went, mate, it's 80 minutes. And he went, oh, okay. Well, we'll still play the scrum. And then they went, no, we won't. Oh, okay, end of the game. So we got through a whole game of rugby. The points were not separated. And also, we didn't have a single card. In the process, the draw was actually paying $16 for this game. And this was supposed to not end the match. What's wrong with them? Says Sim Slayer. And I was like, nah, they're good South Africa teams. And there says Nate, and guess it doesn't matter. I only need the top 8, says Ethan there. So they will be walking away with the 2 points in this contest for the Stormers. Also walking away with 2 points for the Ospreys. Now, the question is, do they get 2 points or 3? Because they are theoretically, no, I guess there's no losing bonus point because no one loses. So I guess both teams just end up with the 2 points for this matchup. But the next game that we are covering for the URC hopefully is going to be the game between the Bulls and Munster tomorrow morning. Also, we've got the Rugby League World Cup coming up, Samoa versus England. That will be taking place in about 16 or 17 hours' time. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see who gets themselves the win in that game. It's actually quite close on the betting odds for that matchup. Also, Stormers' only team that can counter Northern Hemisphere in that weather. What you smoking, says Miminia there. And also, thank you, Hamish. I love what you bring to rugby, says Bianca in there as well. And yeah, it is hugely appreciated all you guys being here for this live stream. I know that it's currently about 10:30 p.m. in South Africa. So I hope you all enjoy your sleep and I hope you're all ready for some more rugby tomorrow night. Cheers for the call, Hamish, too much. And she says Nazi Williams. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Connacht Leinster beat them at home. Shake my head. Was it only 7-0 in that one, or did it end up changing a little bit? Overall, do let me know. Yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. Yeah, thanks for the coverage, Hamish. Good bants, says Ethan. And cheers from Miminia. Yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back later on today with some more rugby and rugby league as well. Thank you all very much. I will see you all for the next one.